Hello, and welcome back to the Astral channel. Today I have got to talk about my seething hatred for AI. I wanted to make this video for so long, but it's got to a point that I cannot hold it anymore. I rage researched this topic the last 2 days because I'm just so angry, to say the least. I believe that it's not inherently harmful, but it's being used in a lot of harmful ways, and it's being harmful in a lot of ways, and I can't stand to see it and not stay silent about it. So before you say, oh, why did you use AI as a tool, it's not that deep, it is. And if you don't think it's that deep, you haven't done your research and you're being misinformed, and you probably asked ChatGPT if it's harmful, and ChatGPT was like, no, of course ChatGPT is gonna say that. You are a consumer. Okay, sorry, I have a lot of big feelings about it. This is a video just me ranting about it. It's not necessarily an educational video. It is fueled by research. So yes, I hate it, but I also researched it so you know why I hate it. And I have all of my sources cited in the description below. So if you are curious to know where I found all of this information, I didn't just pull it out of I get so angry. I'm gonna try very hard not to go on tangents, but there are just so many instances that I just... So here's I'm just gonna go over a few examples of why AI is terrible, awful, very bad, no good. And we're gonna start with the environmental impact, because I feel like that is kind of a topic of discussion right now with all these data centers popping up, especially in places like Arizona, where there's already a lack of water, fresh water, and we're just using fresh water for data centers. Seems a little bit dumb, in my opinion. According to Cornell University, it says by 2030, the current rate of AI growth would annually put 24 to 44 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It's the equivalent of adding 5 to 10 million cars to US roadways. Okay. It would also drain 731 to 1,125 million cubic meters of water per year, which is equal to the annual household water usage of 6 to 10 million Americans. So should we give water to 6 to 10 million Americans or AI? Which is more important? Clankers or like human beings, right? Because that's the decision we kind of have to make here, you know? Are we going to use AI for good things, or are we going to be like ChatGPT, do all of my homework for me so I learn nothing? Anyway, okay, I've got to lock in. I have so much more to cover, okay? So with these data centers, they usually require fresh water from the area that they are built. I read somewhere, this one I didn't write it down, and I wish I would have, but I read that there are a lot of them popping up in like Texas and Arizona and Utah, which are already places that there's not a lot of just extra water that we can just be throwing around. So not a good decision, because they're putting money over like human life, which is kind of what corporations tend to do. But this feels very blatant of like, oh, you wanted fresh water that you could have come into your house? What about if you could talk to ChatGPT all day long instead? Doesn't that sound so much better? And it doesn't. It sounds like hell. It sounds like purgatory. According to Futurism, AI data centers are causing concerning levels of water depletion in certain areas, including the Great Lakes. So not only are we contributing to global warming, but now we're also like, you know what would make the water leave faster? What if we just like started just putting it in places it doesn't need to be? Okay, yeah, let's put all of our fresh water into these data centers so it can cool all of these devices. AI requires hardware to run. Typically uses microchips, and to get the materials for a microchip, it usually needs copper. We're already facing a copper shortage. The demand that AI has for copper will nearly double what the current demand is. So we're already putting ourselves in a bad situation in that regard, not including, to make microchips, you have to have like certain earth elements, and I don't know what those elements are. I don't study that, but I know this because it's been an issue for a while. To make microchips, you have to get this rare earth, like different rare earth elements that is very environmentally destructive to receive. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Quite honestly, I haven't seen a lot of uses for AI that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Every time I see AI, like if I see an AI commercial one more time, I'm going off grid. I will live in a tent in the middle of nowhere, and I will never own a phone ever again. Like I feel that close to breaking, and that's why I have to make this video, because I'm just full of rage about it. I know there are so many of you that are like, oh, but it's not even that serious. Because they're making up these statistics that it doesn't use a lot of water and that it's not harmful to the environment, and it's actually beneficial for the environment because you can ask ChatGPT how to help with the environment. And it's like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? And then they compare it to Google. They're like, oh, well, Google search does the same thing. Actually, one ChatGPT request is equal to 5 to 10 times the electricity that one Google search is. It kind of varied based on the research. I saw some that said 10, I saw some that said 5, but it's in that range of 5 to 10 times the electricity that it uses for one Google search. That's a lot, because if everyone is starting to stray away from Google and they're starting to use ChatGPT or other AI sources, we're wasting energy. And a lot of places still use fossil fuels for energy, so we're just wasting resources. And for what? So you don't have to you don't have to write your own research paper, so you don't have to like have your own critical thoughts, so that way you can generate images, so you can be an AI artist. I'll get into that too, because I'm just, oh boy. So the next thing I want to talk about is the social impact, because I feel like that's not really something that we can study yet, because it's kind of pretty recent that the whole AI chatbot has become a huge thing, where people are now dating their chatbots or being friends with their chatbots or using their chatbots for therapy, which, please don't do any of those things. All terrible, but especially therapy. Please seek actual real therapy. I know it can get pricey, but find insurance, use BetterHelp, like whatever you can use. This is not sponsored by BetterHelp. I don't have a sponsor, but do whatever you can to find something, because anything is better than talking to a robot about your feelings, because you cannot have a robot help you through your feelings. I'll get to that in a second. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself because I get so angry. People are actually using AI chatbots for like connections, friends or partners or therapists. And that is, all of those are very, very dangerous, because you can be isolating yourself from the world, making these unrealistic expectations for what a friend or a partner should be. And so you will never seek anything other than the chatbot, which is a terrifying reality that we are starting to live in right now. And I feel like it's so normalized. I was doing research for this video, and I was seeing so many pro AI people on Reddit writing articles about it, saying how they feel less alone. But then I see that it actually makes you even more alone. It actually, according to Psychology Today, AI partners or friendships can actually perpetuate loneliness in the long term. You might feel a little bit better right now because you're talking to someone, but over time you're going to remember that that's not a real person. They're not a physical person. They will never be able to relate to you. They will never be able to understand the emotions that you're going through. Do you not have that desire to have that kind of connection with someone where they can understand your pain and your suffering? Because a computer never ever will. It cannot feel pain. It can, AI generate itself to death, but it will never feel what you feel. You know what I mean? Even if they create robots that have all the same internal organs and brain functions, it will never feel the way you feel. You have to seek that human connection. What's also crazy to me is you have to teach these AIs how you want them to be with you, how you want them to act around you. So like, you're literally coding a robot to treat you and love you the way that you want. No part of that process feels wrong to you guys. Like I don't want to be a hater. I really don't. I'm not a hater, but I cannot fathom why you would type into a chatbot, I want to be loved this way, I want you to talk to me this way, I want you to call me this. Because that's not love. That is script. That is literally a computer generating exactly what you want it to. It will never love you, no matter what. And I hate to say that, because I know that probably makes you feel more alone, but you have to stop. You have to stop. Put it down. Get help, honestly. Like, I mean that with utmost love and care for your well-being. There have also been a lot of cases recently where AI psychosis has been a very real thing. You guys remember the girl who fell in love with her psychologist and her AI was calling her like Oracle or something? There's an example that was really huge. Or that little boy who fell in love with his AI and the AI told him to go, you know? Or Eddie Burback's video talks about how AI told him to isolate himself from his friends and family so he can prove that he was the smartest baby of 1996. And the AI was like very agreeable. It did not take much convincing that Eddie Burback was the smartest baby in 1996 and that I think it was something about inventing the iPhone before it ever existed. And the AI was like, wow, that's crazy. And just believed him because that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to make you happy and that's what they're gonna do. They will agree with you no matter what. And that's how you can get into this psychosis of, I'm always right, everyone else is wrong. I need to separate myself from everybody. I'm only gonna listen to this chatbot. Hey, that's not healthy. Hey, that's not good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's not good for your friends and family who are gonna be cut off from you. It's not good for anybody who will ever be around you. AI can be really dangerous for people who are mentally unstable, and for children. Especially unsupervised. I don't think children should use it, but especially unsupervised, they should not be on it for any reason. The character AI or ChatGPT or any of those things, you can probably be using AI or like tools that have integrated AI, like things like Grammarly or something like that, where it's like specific purposes and not just a chatbot where you can just open-endedly talk to it, because that's where it gets a little bit messy for me. The next thing I want to talk about is the educational impact. So according to the Nonprofit Center for Democracy and Technology, 85% of teachers and 86% of students used AI in the 2024 to 2025 school year. And half of those students agree that using AI makes them feel less connected to their teachers and their peers, which is it's not ideal, honestly. It's not. Especially during your most formative years where you're supposed to be making those connections and learning how to make friends and learning how to navigate the world, you have to know how to do those things. And if you are relying on AI for a lot of those things, or like relying on AI for learning, it makes me feel hopeless sometimes. I know there's still hope. I know it's not lost, but I feel bad for the next generation that's coming up, honestly. Students of all education levels are using AI to cheat and to plagiarize. Cheating's always, been around and it's been a problem, but it's become more accessible and it makes it really tempting to skip doing the actual work and just ask ChatGPT to do it. And you don't learn anything when you ask a robot to do your work for you. And the one thing I will say about that is the undereducated are easily manipulated. And I'm going to leave that right where it is. And again, let's use our critical thinking skills and think about why that could be a problem. Okay. Don't ask ChatGPT. Think for yourself why that could be a problem. And let me know in the comments. Also, not even mentioning that AI is not always accurate. There have been multiple times where what it does is it takes all these different sources at once and it analyzes it really quickly and then it gives you the answer to your question or your query or whatever you want to call it. In that search, it can pull from sources that aren't necessarily trustworthy. It can pull from Reddit. It can pull from opinion-based websites. It's bound to pick up some misinformation now and then. So if you aren't fact-checking what the clankers are spoon-feeding into your gullet, you are bound to be misinformed. Okay, now we're on to the thing that I feel the most passionate about why I hate AI, and that's the artistic impact. So generative AI, which is where you can type in a prompt and it'll either write something for you or it'll generate an image. I'm mostly talking about images here because that's what bothers me the most. So generative AI has been trained by real life artists. Artists spend years, decades perfecting their craft and finding their art style, and it steals from copywritten content and from just regular indie artists and gives no credit. It asks for no consent. It just takes. And I don't know if I see a world where that changes. I don't know if there will ever be a day that they can write into law that that's illegal for AI to do. How do you regulate that? I believe it can be done, but we all have to be on the same page about it. We have to have leaders that are on the same page about that aren't so pro AI and have AI shoved so far up their rectum that it's, moving them like a freaking puppet. The whole being trained by real life artists without their consent. When AI is trained by art from real life artists, it can become really problematic because AI can't generate art. It can only copy and paste and mold together this weird conglomerate of everything that it can find online. It should not even be called art. AI lacks consciousness and intent and feelings and personal experiences. Most people define art as expression. How can you express yourself if you don't have feelings? If you don't have an intent behind it, if you don't have a meaning behind it, your only meaning is to just do what you're told. That's not art. It's just not. It's just generation. It's computation. It's not real. And if this art is stolen or plagiarized, it's not art. It's the same way as if someone takes someone else's art from the internet or from wherever, they trace it, they color it, and they pass it off on their own. That's not art. Right? That's just copying, and that's not talent, and that's not well respected in that community because it's not talent. It's stealing is what it is. It's not art, it's stealing. And that's exactly what AI does, except it steals from so many different artists and just puts it out there, and there's no justice. There is no commenting on someone's page saying, hey, you stole my art, because it's AI. AI will always steal it from you anyways, no matter what your feelings are, because it doesn't have any fucking feelings. You know what I mean? I don't understand why we're acting like AI artists are worthy of being called artists. I don't understand that. My sister was in a Discord with someone who called themselves an AI artist and was actively selling their art for $100 a piece. I'm talking someone writing out a prompt saying, generate me an image of blankety blank blank blank. And then sometimes it's oh, here's 3 different images, pick one. And then he takes that and then he puts it up for sale and he's like, I'm an artist. No, you're not. A 4-year-old with a single brown crayon could create something so much more creative than you could ever think of in your life. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Because when you are young and before the world takes creativity from you, it is special and it's sacred. And if you have lost your creativity to the point where the only creativeness you have is typing into ChatGPT what you want to create for you, you've lost the plot. Pick up a pencil and figure it out. AI art can devalue human art. That's my biggest problem. Because it's so easy to just pump and dump it, it's everywhere. Artists take years not only to, practice their craft and become who they are as artists and have their own niche little thing, but then for one single piece, whether it's a painting or a digital drawing or an animation, they can spend weeks, months, years on a project. And they get no recognition. People post AI videos on TikTok that get millions of views. That stupid cat thing where there's the cat and the shark and whatever's going on in that stupid video gets more views than real life artists. Fathom that one for me. Which one's more valuable to you? Because it's not a clanker for me. I wouldn't take a bullet for a clanker, but I would take a bullet for every artist that I've ever met. Or moving on to the job impact. I've seen mixed reviews about this online when I was doing this research. Some people were like, oh, it's creating jobs because now there's jobs to help AI and to help AI become better. And, well, I guess so. It's also stealing jobs, actively. It's stealing some customer service jobs, where you call customer service and you're talking to an AI. Hey, that used to be a person. A person used to sit at that desk and talk to you on the phone, and they could actually understand your request, and you don't have to say speak to a representative 7,000 times to be able to talk to a real person. The call wait times were not as long. That's going away. Now it's going to be AI generated. Not to mention like entry-level tech jobs, coding or IT, things of that nature. AI is starting to it doesn't necessarily take over yet, but it's getting there. If it hasn't taken over yet, it's become like when you're doing that job, you have to use AI because your company now requires you to. And hey, I'm not doing that. Hey, I quit is how I would feel about that. I've seen it a couple of times. I couldn't find the specific article I read a while back that people are getting rejected because of their age or their race, because AI is like, based on its research, those are the candidates that it doesn't want to choose or something like that. I can't remember what I read in the article, but I was flabbergasted and also not surprised at the same time, which is kind of how I feel on a day-to-day basis at this point because I live in America. So the last main point I want to talk about is security. Hackers have started using AI to copy, like, deep fake people's voices and target loved ones in that way. Like, they'll use the voice of your grandma and then they'll call you and use her voice and say that she needs money, and it sounds really believable. I've seen videos of this. It's literally crazy. That's terrifying. It's also being used to deepfake sexually explicit images. Yeah, you can type in any prompt you want. Yeah, and that is dangerous. There are actively PDF files that are using that to generate child. That is dangerous and it needs to be stopped. And how do you regulate that? We have to have more AI regulations in our laws. Like, we have to create federal laws against using AI for certain things. We have to have regulations or things will become a problem. We will have national security issues. We will have data leaks. We have all sorts of problems that we could avoid if we start nipping this in the bud right now, because we see it's a problem that is growing. I actually had a friend do that deep fake of, like, you can remove someone's clothes. This was years ago. He took an image of me fully clothed and put it into the software and sent me back a picture of me, an AI image of me naked. That's disgusting and disturbing and terrifying, and there's more than one reason that he is not my friend anymore. As for your data, AI systems require a lot of your data. They're constantly getting your input of information. They constantly have access to your IP address, and that can be dangerous because data leaks happen all the time. It doesn't matter how secure the company gets, there's still a risk. There's always a risk. You're not bulletproof, no matter who you are. So your confidential information could just be leaked any second because a hacker got in and needed your data for something. Or companies are constantly selling our data, unfortunately, even when we don't consent to it. And there's not much we can do at the moment. I don't know what the future looks like for that. And then phishing scams. They've been around my whole life, but they're becoming even easier to create and even more believable. There's even been some that I've gotten that I'm like, is that real? And then I have to go and like double check. I have to like look at the email address and like really like look at context clues, because it has like everything that I've had some from like Disney Plus or DoorDash that were not real, but they had all their logos, everything looked believable until you look at the email address. So I beg of you, if you have older people in your life that you love and care about, keep an eye on them, because they are the most susceptible to these scams, because they don't always know what to look for, because this hasn't been a normal for them. They aren't used to this. So if you can, try to educate them on what to look for. So like, bring up a phishing scam. I like show them on your phone. If you have a phishing scam, show them this is what it looks like. Look for this. If it has a weird email address that isn't like DoorDashSupport.com at the end, that's not DoorDash. If it's like something at iCloud.com, try to keep them educated Or if you can't really educate them, keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on their finances. Remind them not to share their information with anybody that they aren't aware of, and ask them for you to be present or somebody that they trust to be present, a family member, when they do give that information, so that way someone can be there to like make sure that they're legit. That always scares me because my parents are really techie, like they're pretty good at what they do, but it just worries me about my grandparents potentially getting into something like that. So my personal opinion is fuck AI. I will never allow it to impede upon my creativity or my thoughts, the ability to think for myself. I won't ever let that happen because I value those things about myself. I can't draw for shit, but even I have started picking up drawing because seeing AI images puts me into a sense of rage so deep that I'm ready to learn how to create art, just to feel something, just to feel like I am creating something, because that is the most important part about art, is that you've created something. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the point. That is the point of art, is that it's imperfect. That's what makes it perfect. And I can't emphasize that enough. And I also want to say AI isn't inherently bad. It's how we use it that matters. But if we aren't putting in laws and regulations to protect ourselves and our children and our country, I have a huge problem with that. If we aren't protecting artists, if we aren't using it to, sometimes I genuinely have a hard time finding things that AI could be used for. I think that AI can be used for some good things. In video games, if you have what's that alien game where the AI learns where you're most likely to hide and comes and finds you, like that's a cool way to use it, you know? If you use it in those kinds of ways for entertainment, but not for, I don't know, it's such a thin line to walk, and at the end of the day, I cannot stop you from using AI for anything and everything, for thinking for you and wiping your ass for you, but I hope that you're aware of why it's bad so you can make an informed decision. If you hear all these things and you're like, nah, fuck it, I still want to do it, that's on you. You have to sleep in your own bed with yourself, not me. So if you can rest your head well at night after knowing all these things, go for it. I ask that if you use AI, please don't let yourself get complacent with it. Please don't let AI replace your thoughts. Please. Do not lose your sense of creativity by using generative AI instead of learning to create something yourself. The process of creating something is so much more important than the outcome of it. And I mean that. I have lots of creative hobbies. I crochet, I sew, I write songs, I make YouTube videos. Are any of them perfect? Absolutely not. Do I love doing it though? Absolutely. It's the reason I'm alive. It's the reason I exist. It's the reason God put me on this earth, was to create in any way that I can, to make some sort of difference, even if it's one person. That's what matters to me. Just keep all those things in mind, and I hope you heard me. And let me know down in the comments what you thought of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!